The world is a strange planet, made of strange people, strange places, and strange events. These are the lists that expose the truth about the strangest things that happen here, on Earth, the strangest planet in the world. These are Miklists.
We have spoken at length about cryptozoology on this channel before, both on Miklists and its sister show, The Paranormals. While our Paranormals episodes have tended to focus on video footages of beasts and monsters, anecdotal tales of cryptids here on Miklists have remained rather tame in comparison. And while tales of cryptids consuming comestibles caused quite the stir back during our first episode of our first season, what we have learned since is what internet viewers really want is blood. But why start giving the internet what it wants now, Mahanahan fans? We here at Miklists cover the topics that we, the Miklists staff, and you, the Mahanahan fans, want us to cover. The rest of YouTube and the internet at large be damned. Perhaps that is the reason we hold steadfast at 36 subscribers, but we will find our audience. I am confident of that. So let us not delay. After all, today's video may finally be the one to make its viral mark upon the YouTube algorithm, completing our apotheosis into our final form as B-grade internet video stars. So, today let's tech talk... Here are 3 cryptids that basically murdered a guy. Number 3. Ahul Indonesia. According to cryptids.fandom.com, the Ahul, or Ahul, is a winged cryptid that some portray as a giant bat, while others claim it is a flying primate. Competing cryptozoology website Cryptid Archives with an s.fandom.com says the Ahul is a cryptid reported from montane rainforests of the Indonesian island of Java. And before you ask, montane is not a misspelling of the word mountain. It is just another word for a cloud forest, rainforest. According to most sources, the Ahul gets its name from the unique vocalization it makes, which I will now attempt to recreate for you. Ahul! Ahul! Other competing cryptozoology website, cryptozoology.fandom.com, no S's or Z's at all, adds additional details to the beast's description, revealing its large, black eyes, flattish man-like face, backward-pointing feet, and preferred habitat of caves behind waterfalls. It also says the creature is the size of a 1-year-old child with a gigantic wingspan of roughly 12 feet, which I admit would be a very large wingspan for a child of any age, but it says this right next to this image, I presume an artist's interpretation, of a giant flying bat with small, beady red eyes, a plump bat face, forward-pointing feet, and a body size of roughly Mack truck equivalency. So, do with all of that what you will. According to unverified internet anecdotes, son of ornithologist Max Edward Gottlieb Meg Bartels, Dr. Ernest Bartels, told a guy named Bernard Heuvelmans, who then told a cryptozoologist named Ivan T. Sanderson that he, Dr. Ernest Bartels, had encountered the creature not once, but twice, but had only seen it not twice, but once. Is a giant ape-man bat the size of a small baby driving a huge truck truly haunting the skies over the island of Java in Indonesia? All logical sources point to yes. Number 2. Ningen, Japan. According to the spring 2022 edition of Wikipedia's quarterly annual refresh, the ningen is described as a whale-like creature that has anatomical similarities to humans. The creature has a face, and in some stories it is said to have extremely large limbs and/or arms and hands, about 20 to 30 meters or 65 to 100 feet long. Please allow the requisite moment for that to settle in, Mahanahan fans, as the shocking description is both unexpected and off-putting. The ningen, a man-whale hybrid, seems to have a face. A forum post on Japanese site 2channel, which is, only half as good as 4chan? Is that really something you want people to know about your website? That it's essentially 4chan, but worse? A forum post on 2channel claimed that members of a whale research vessel witnessed the creature surface off the Atlantic coast, thinking it was a submarine, but when they approached for a closer look, the quote-unquote submarine vanished into the waves. Which, that's kind of what a submarine does, isn't it? Just because something goes underwater does not mean it is not a submarine. If it had taken off and rocketed away via air, that would have been a sign that it wasn't a submarine. Anyway, let's take a look at the artist's impression of the ningen present on the Wikipedia page. That is the whale man? It barely even has that face it's famous for. We're going to keep looking for photos, Mahanahan fans, because... come on. Number 1. Lizard Man of Scape Ore Swamp, South Carolina. The Lizard Man of Scape Ore Swamp, also known as the Lizard Man of Lee County for short, is said to inhabit the swampland of Lee County, South Carolina, and was first reported on in the late 1980s. On the 14th of July, 1988, according to Wikipedia's, the Lee County Sheriff's Office investigated a report of a car damaged overnight while parked at a home in the area of Browntown, outside Bishopville, South Carolina, on the edges of the Scape Ore Swamp. The car had suffered scratches and supposedly had tooth marks in its bodywork, and whatever had damaged the vehicle had left hair and muddy footprints behind. News coverage of the investigation prompted 17-year-old Christopher Davis to report that something similar had happened to his car 2 weeks prior, and that the thing that had done it had been green, wet-like, about 7 feet tall and had 3 fingers, red eyes, skin like a lizard, and snake-like scales, and had jumped on top of his car during its attack. Local businesses at this point began selling Lizard Man t-shirts, and the local Chamber of Commerce was thrilled with the media attention, claiming it was, quote, good for the community. Unfortunately, it was not good for Airman Kenneth Orr, stationed at Shaw Air Force Base, who had reported to police shooting and wounding the monster after a local radio station offered a $1 million reward for the creature's capture. It wasn't good because increased scrutiny led to Orr recanting his story 2 days later after being arraigned for unlawfully carrying a pistol. Christopher Davis's story wavered repeatedly over the coming weeks, details changing with each retelling, which leads us to perhaps the most interesting revelation of all. The Lizard Man of Scape Ore Swamp could, somehow, affect memory. There are 3 of the strangest cryptid cases around, Mahanahan fans. Have you been to one of the mentioned locations? Have you seen any of these strange creatures? Have you taken any home? Are you perhaps feeding one in your living room right now? Tell us all about it in the comments.